as a result of the construction of the ring road is not good enough. And for them, it looks as though adequate planning was not done, and work that needed to be done on those roads were not done. So now it's very difficult. Some of them recommended that the excess tar that's been used for the construction of the ring road be used to fix some of the potholes on the alternative routes. The what's the name of the school? The Jephthah school area. There's a road there that at first when the government has said, oh, that's the alternative, I'm like, I know that road, and it's not, if there's nothing you can say about that road that is, and for long people have been saying, this road, if we did this road, and then it brings us to even begin to question, okay, what about council chairmen? If you're saying that, okay, you cannot say everything on state government, council chairmen know better. These interior roads, they have more information, they know more because they are closer. This is places that they go to every single time, so they should know. But as it stands, those alternatives are not alternating at all, if there's any English like that one. And this has brought us to where we are now. Not because people are angry at the ongoing construction work. It's a beautiful one, and people love the idea that government is doing the ring road. But how do we now make the impact of it seamless and less stressful on residents? This is where my question then comes in. And I'll start with you first to tell us this whole thing, Mr. Ikechukwu. What processes are involved when you are, because the surveys were carried out and people measured, mapped out the roads and all of that. While you were doing this, shouldn't the government have looked at, okay, what would be the alternatives? And if that is supposed to be in the plan, what should have been done before the actual construction work itself?
It's unfortunate that the way things are going here, it is just a clear picture that we are not ready to learn. We keep doing things the same way and expecting different results. That is not possible. When we had the construction of the flyovers, even the ones at location junction, we had similar situations, and I remember we came on air on various occasions to call for collaboration, because the ministries you have in the state, they are not there to work independently. There is room for them to partner, interministerial relationship. Now, if I tell you that all these that are happening, the fiscal planning ministry and urban development, they have no hand in all this. And in that ministry, you have a department of physical planning and transportation, which ordinarily would have collaborated with the Ministry of Works or whatever to look into these issues. And ordinarily, we know that most of these roads we call alternate routes, we know that they are bad. And when a project like this is coming up, there is need for palliative measures to be carried out on that road for easy flow of traffic. But the reverse is the case. And that is why you see when developments of these natures are coming, it comes with so much pains, which ordinarily is not, which ordinarily would have been controlled from the planning stage.
But why the failure in this? Mr. Njoko, I know that I've brought you guys here several times. When they started the planning for the Ring Road project, we were trying to analyze the work and what should have been put in place and what should have not been put in place. If we were to look at what the chairman, Mr. Ikechukwu, had just said, in your own opinion, what is the failure? Why are we making the same mistakes over and over again? Is it that we do not see, or is it that the government was not aware that the alternative routes that they are talking about are nothing to write home about? Or is it that somebody did not tell who needs to know what they need to know? Why the repeated failure? Mr. Ikechukwu also had raised, it's not the first time. When we had the other flyovers, I remember the people started using was it Farm Road then when they had the one at location. And then there was a lot of outcry before the government now came and tried to do some, especially when the rains now came and then it was really bad, tried to do small remedial work on that road that didn't even still last. It was still a problem. And guess what? Immediately the flyover had been opened and everything done, We didn't go back to do the road well, just in case of what would happen in the future. So why is it this way? What exactly?
I think just like what the chairman has said, the lack of collaboration among ministries and even built environment professionals. Fortunately, the Commissioner of Fiscal Plan of that Ministry of Works is a quantity surveyor, and we in the built environment profession, we all know our boundaries. We all know what each professionals in that circle stand for. So it behoves on the commissioner, who was also the commissioner
under the past
administration. It behoves on him to call these individuals together. Okay, this is what we want to embark on. We don't want to make the same mistake we did the last time. What do we do? Another thing is this: when you say diversions, roads are categorized. You have classes: the local access road, the distributors, and the collectors. You cannot channel traffic from East-West Road into a street road. It won't work. So
why?
Because the road shoulders are not built to carry those kind of traffic. So if you have to, there are measures you need to take, which involve these professionals to come together. Okay, we need to upgrade this road. This road is our alternative. We need to upgrade to be able to carry this volume of traffic, to carry this juggernaut, these trucks. It will be suicide for you to divert trucks that play this East-West Road through a street
because
road.
I understand that. I remember from what you're saying now, it takes my mind back to the complaints I had when they were doing the flyover under the past administration, especially for that farm road. I'll go back there again, because most of the cars would now follow the farm road into that NTA estates and come from university areas and all other areas that link to the NTA road.
Yeah.
And then what you then saw was bad. But then that's where then you see
of neglect. Streets that can there is need for the road that you are supposed to now take as an first place. I'm not talking of the ring roads now. I'm talking of those
the feeder roads, those interior small.
Those places they grew.
Just to add, Ikechukwu flyover, the plan.
And the roads were connected.
So if other neighborhood had the same plan, the whole challenge wouldn't have been there. In that deal, have roads. So that connection of road from the street then to, but neighborhood that was just go get surveyors who pass the and then create road, take
lack of collaboration between the various departments and families who sell their lands and their houses in those, because sometimes I go through this NTO area, just go to Ozoba. There as a result of failure of collaboration of ministries.
No, the thing is, the indigenes in the first in their lands the Port Harcourt metropolis on stream the first time. You see, people were scared. They give you the normal 7 days notice and you continue. The next thing, the bulldozer comes and brings everybody. Were kind of cautious and they were trying to do the right thing. But the situation whereby the people you have to oversee these things, they are not even enough. The manpower is not there. By the time you say stop work here and you are going to maybe a chair to do the same thing, coming back, the man has finished his building and packed in. So these are the situations we are into.
Is that the case? I mean, we know the government approved for a 20,000 housing unit program. We don't know. Was there collaborations with regards to that, where town planners and other departments carried along? You would respond to this after the commercial. I'm asking because you mentioned the Greater Port Harcourt and all, so we get your opinion on that as well. But let's take this commercial first. We'll be back.
Captain Elijah Amadi Polytechnic, Rumola, Port Harcourt has reopened.
back to my guest in the studio. And so we finish on the line of thought. We were discussing
to come and take over their. Want to come and say, let's work together. And even when you try to call them, there's flood everywhere because both the riparian areas have been converted to land buildings.
Or how it wants a community to grow. It is government that would declare a community a planning area. That's okay, go and prepare a layout for this community, just as it was done in Job, Igwe Island, and other place that we had at its plan in Port Harcourt. So it is a failure of the government to, since the last master plan of 1975 and then the Greater Port Harcourt plan, for not being able to plan other neighborhood in the state, especially even within the metropolis. So if the government has said, okay, Rumosi, there is a master plan or a layout plan for Rumosi and Rumekili, maybe 10, 15 years ago, even if you're not going in to do the site and services, you can, okay, let's do the roads, map out the roads, map out the classes of road where the facility will be. Then allow. Then that's when the ministries will now come in to police whoever is developing that. See, we have mapped out this area for road. We have mapped this area for drainage. Nobody should build on this area. This is the setback you should give from your property to the road. And once that is done, you will see you see the serenity of the neighborhood. You see that every facility will be connected. This whole issue of once this East-West road is blocked and everybody is complaining wouldn't have been there, because there would have been road big enough to carry the traffic at least for this little time. The construction work will be on. So it is not just the community. The government need to wake up and do the
So how do you explain this? So some people who do not know, I need you gentlemen to give us an idea. What is the process supposed to be before work commenced on a project like the Ring Road? What is the process beyond, okay, they had guns, we had surveyors go around, we had houses demolished, we had compensation, we had all of that. Some people felt that, the alternative routes should have first also been looked at before then we continue. Is that what is obtainable? What is really obtainable? Chairman, let's hear you.
The first thing ought to be carrying out a good ground trotting by going around, physically walk around, look at this alternative route, assess their condition, and improve
because the government would have been aware that when they start this work, it was going to cause
because
traffic.
You already know that once this work is coming, so axis will be shut off, and this will be the alternative route. Then the next question will be, what is the condition of this alternative route? So you have to look at it, and if it is a road that needs improvement, you improve it first, and then you now close where you are closing. People will use it, and the moment it starts failing, you must also be able to be responsive, to come back, do some remedial palliative works and all that, so that to ease the burden.
Does that have anything to do with the company that is contracted to do the Ring Road job? Because some people, I remember back in the days, I grew up in Warri, I stayed in Port Harcourt for a while. We know that you'd have companies, do remedial work on alternative routes. They would personally go and just do maybe some potholes fill and do some on alternative before they start the work on the road that they're doing, like something like the Ring Road.
They don't go and do it by themselves. It is also the government that will instruct them, because their contract is clearly on the Ring Road.
So all the times we've seen it would be the government.
Route, it is government that will now say, okay, since you are working on this road already and your materials, your equipment are on ground, please quickly go in here, give some remedial work so to ease the traffic congestion and all that. That's the government that will also tell them. They don't go there on their own.
So that would imply that if we haven't seen that happen, perhaps a conversation is yet to be held between them and the government.
That is it.
So what then is the place of the town planners in all of this? In this situation, it's what it is now. How can we go forward with this? What suggestions as town planners would you now give to say, okay, this is what it is. It's really bad. I mean, people are, the Jefta area is a total, I don't know, it's a no-go area. Even just behind us here, it's completely something else. Many people are trying to avoid these areas. I mean, if you want to go to Alu now and you don't want to follow these areas, the only option you have is to go through the airport and turn that very long distance. Yeah. So going forward now, how do we then go about this? Is it too late for the government to say, okay, let's come in and begin to fix these alternative routes? Because we have the range, don't forget, just around the corner. Yeah. And it could get worse than what it is now.
Well, the first thing is for them to get the alternative routes working, make it better than it is, to ease the burden that the people are going through. And the state government should also take it as a responsibility to ensure that most of our internal roads, they work them, put them to standard, because of unforeseen situation or circumstances like this.
What are the council chairmen? Do we have town planners at the councils?
That's what we're saying. If you remember,
Mr. Njoko is laughing.
Yes, we just
because
mentioned
some of these roads are local governments.
Yeah, they are local government roads, but you know how the system is. We have 3 tiers of government levels here, but you know how it works.
I don't know. What I know is federal, state, and
Nigerian, it is federal, state, and local. But the most prominent is federal and state. And that is what.
But in Rivers State, we have not heard any of the local government council chairmen say that they are being oppressed or that they are not allowed to work. None of them have said that ever, from past administration to now. They've all had their monies. They've all agreed to having their monies. Yes, they might have little challenges, but they've not openly come out to directly say they are being hindered or stopped from doing this or doing that or doing that. So I think, don't you think that we would be making a case that they have not admitted to? If we say,
for me,
that
I would say
it's only two
let
arms
that
working.
be a story for another day. The emphasis we are making is the need for the establishment of local planning authorities in each of the local government
What
areas.
about the CDCs? Don't they work? What do you have the CDCs
No,
for?
but the CDCs you are talking about, what is their background? What do they know about planning? The CDC that is interested of, hey, your money for community is 200,000, and he collects it and go. And by the time you shift your fence into the road, instead of telling you to take it back, when you bring money and you move on. So that is not what we're saying. If you have the local planning authorities in each of the local government areas, it will give a great boost. In fact, I'm even amazed because the Rivers State Fiscal Planning and Development Law number 6 of 2003 has that in part 2 of that law that there should be established local planning authorities in all the local government areas.
So now they're not
established. But as we speak today, there's nothing like that. If you go to the council areas, there is no office for physical planning.
Mr. Onjoku, you were laughing when I mentioned the situation.
This local government thing has always troubled me because we have a law, just that the chairman has mentioned, that is signed and passed by the government, the Amechi government. And since then to now, none of the government has thought this right to say, okay, let's implement our own law. Because if you have these local planning authorities, for instance, and maybe for a local government like Obiakpo, they will not have sub-zone because of how
big it is.
Then in a Rumusi, for instance, there will be a town planning office.
So what we're having now would not have had, some of these roads would have been looked at.
If the community has opened a road that, okay, this road is 8 meters, the town planner will take charge. Okay, this road is 8 meters. Nobody will encroach. So once you try to do any excavation, the man will come, no, you have exceeded your boundary. And you say there will be this check in what we are doing. But because the government has failed to even obey their own law, that's why we're having this issue we're having. But again, we're talking of the alternative route. I took time this night to look at them. Unfortunately, when these decisions are made, town planners are not carried along, even those in the Ministry of Fiscal Planning. Some of the choices of the alternative are wrong.
Okay.
I would have come in with my laptop. I was looking at, okay, let's take example of this road.
There's the Ogbogoro, Ungbaraja, Egbelu. Those are roads.
Some of them are too deep. For instance, on this Rumosi road, you can take a detour from that Ola Banki filling station. Yeah, that's coming. Yes, you can take that detour. That's about a 1.6 kilometer that will take you in back to the East West Road. You take a detour, then go through this RHH Hospital, then through Apollo Sakani Street, then back to East West Road. It's shorter. The only thing that needs to be done is to stabilize those roads. Then you go to the only place to have a completely bottleneck is the Rumek in the Axis, but you can still connect it. The Rumek in the Axis, you go through this Wiz oil that is here. There's a road by that Wiz oil, and
it's bad though.
That's what I'm saying.
I just need to point out because I know that road is really bad.
You just bring these rubbles and stabilize them. That's what I'm saying. Well, if town planners were involved from administration, would have said, okay, we'll go around and look at the shortest alternative, and then we stabilize them and make things easy for people. So on this one, you go through that Wiz, enter them, you go ahead behind the public school there, that primary school, you come out to Rumekin again. And this is a more than a kilometer diversion. Instead of trying to reload the traffic through. So I was able to analyze on the Rumokuta axis, if you're coming from Rumokuta, you divert through, there's a bakery road. If you're coming from NTA.
But that's that bakery road. Now, when you go into that bakery road, you see that Jeffta school, that road. It's bad.
You don't need to get to Jeffta to connect back. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. But then the alternative one that's there, is it good? Is it in a motorable condition?
Just as I said, they should be able to carry, especially town planners, along when such decisions are being made. We all know our boundaries as professionals. We all know where our strength lies. So the town planner will be able to tell you that this is the closest diversion. Then this is what we're going to do. You can just do a remedial work on some of this road. You cannot tell a Dangote truck, for instance, to go through. There are some,
and that's something I also noticed now, because the roads are small, and then you have these trucks
that must be how
going to go through, heavy duty trucks using those roads.
The bottom line is this neglect of town planning in the state, and then our colleagues in the built environment profession, maybe who has the opportunity of being into politics, and also helping matters. Sorry to say it. We have a commissioner who of works, who is a quantity surveyor. He knows what the role of a surveyor, the role of a town planner, the role of the estate valet. He should be able to gather them together. This is what we want to embark on. What is your view? Especially
when you look at what happened the last time we had this sort of works.
And then the governor too, I was expecting him up to this point to call a stakeholder meeting of professionals of the built environment to analyze some of these things. So it's quite appalling that we have an area of professionals who has what it takes to make sure things go seamlessly, but they are not being contacted.
All right. Let's take some calls, because if we go on and on with this, there's quite a lot to say and analysis to make, like you're doing now. But let's hear what the listener has to say. This is just before we take the call. Just listen to some of those that our correspondent had spoken to, the residents around the Ozuoba area and their own thoughts about the situation.
We don't cry if they find how go government house, go do protest. Cornerstone Road, very, very bad. In the scatter the keke, maybe governor come walk this road for us.
Especially the dust. For our goods, clean it now, it will still get dusty. The gutter, they don't block them. If rain fall, now the road, the water, they flow. So the thing, they very, very bad.
The road, they affect us well because we know they sell like that, unlike before. Customer, when they come, they find where to put leg. There is no proper drainage.
So you heard that some of them, we can't, because of the time, we can't take all of them, but the complaints that it's been made as a result of the condition of the alternative roads all over, not just on the East-West Road axis, but also on the Ozuoba axis as well. For some people, why are they doing both work at the same time? Was it not possible to have done one, and then when you've created, something that people can easily, can use, then you go to the other side so that we can move the traffic the other way? Well, all of these have been suggestions that have been made, but let's hear what the listener thinks. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0002. You can also call 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0003. On Facebook, Lawrence Friday says, good morning. Before embarking on that road, alternative routes should have been considered first and made ready for use in order to make motorists ply those roads and even people living around those areas. Ajiri Prosper says, good morning. The situation in the pipeline road is very pathetic. Every morning and evening, the government should come and help repair the Gojelta road to help reduce traffic on the pipeline area in Ozuoba. That's the one I was talking about. Really bad. From Henry says, I think there was no good plan as to ensure that all alternative roads are put in place before the start of the ring road. Or did the government work on the notion that the alternative roads are all functioning properly? Because it's almost impossible to believe that, the government knew and then said, continue. Some people would argue that perhaps the right information did not go to who it needs to go to understand exactly what the situation is like before approving for these things to continue. Because it is really not, if we look at the messages and the contributions, you would know. And if you go there, because I've gone to some of the roads myself to see firsthand what the situation is, and it's not really friendly. Robin from Echie, good morning.
It's Emmanuel. Good morning, my brother.
Go on, Robin.
I'm greeting to our professional brothers in the studio.
Thank you, my brother.
You see, they have spoken. That is not a professional. I understand that the government is the problem. Government is the problem. How do you embark on such a humongous project called the Ring Road? As I'm talking to you, I don't know whether you, Andrew, whether the drawing of that road is pasted or mounted anywhere. Is the government of Rivers State telling me and Nigerians and Rivers State people that they did not carry out impact assessment before the project? If they do, why these hues and cries? And like one of the guests there said, the current commissioner is a professional. And he has these people at his beck and call. Why is it finding it difficult to bring in these people? The money is there. Call these people together. I have told Mr. Emmanuel that if I have opportunity to become either a president of Nigeria, I will not travel to anywhere in the world. I will put together a consortium of thinkers, those who make the society move, like those who are talking in the studio. Let me know others call.
All right, Robin, thank you.
Do something and wake up so that the people should
Okonkwo from Rumokuta, good morning. Oh, good. Okonkwo, please call back. Yeah, let's go to Richard in Iba. Richard, good morning.
Good morning, Emmanuel.
Go on, Richard.
Your guest in the studio. Yes, it is quite obvious when it comes to road construction of that nature. And then there is need to provide an alternative route. The primary thing to do there is to seek the alternative routes to ease traffic. That is just as I said. That is a fact in a project management. But one important question I want to ask, when you talk about the role of a town planner, Ministry of Works, which I would say oversees this project, ring road construction, do they not have experts like a town planner who have worked in synergy with the contractor, so that the planning that the young men in the city are talking about will be effective? I mean, that, that's the one question. Ministry of Works, do they not have a town planner who they work with? Thank you.
My guest will respond. Krika, let's go to Muriel. Muriel, good morning.
Thank you. Femi, good morning.
Go on.
Femi, how the experience when constructing the bridge, when we had to pass through this other alternative, it was so bad. We managed it. And then, I'm an advocate of the right thing must be done, irrespective of who I support. I think it's an error for the government to even start this work without fixing the alternative route. And one thing about a reputable construction company, Julius Berger, shouldn't even start work if they've not even fixed the alternative route. I don't know why they have to do this. Maybe it's because they're in Nigeria, anything goes. And then the community and resource persons, like the persons in your studios, why do they just come late? Medicine after death all the time in Nigeria and in River State in particular. You see, before this project starts, the communities, the youth, the only thing they know, sometimes they just walk over and say, give me something before you do all those things. Why don't you stand for right? You say, no, before this project starts, this cars will be coming to our community. And there are children, whenever you pass, you see children living all over playing, but too many cars, even construction company cars, trailers are passing those roads. Why don't they hold ground and say, no, this road must be fixed before you start the project? They will always wait until when the thing has, when medicine after death all the time. What will they always come late?
All right, Muriel. All right, thank you. Ibiso from Odili Road. Good morning.
Yes, Andrew, good morning, and good morning to your guests in the studio.
Good morning.
To me, I don't think we have town planners. Like during after the Steve era, River State was planned, and if you go to the ministry, I believe you still see that map. When former Governor Rotimi Amechi was the governor of River State, Amechi followed that map. So most of the roads they are constructing that time, you will see that some of the houses encroach, and Amechi said them bluntly that I will not pay compensation. Look at the map. Amechi even bring up Port Garden City. Some will criticize him. Good plan, everything was okay. But today, look at River State. Some people will build their house on the walkway, extend their house more than the pole. I'm not an architect, but my common sense makes me to know that there are some areas you will not go to. But they will build it, and nobody will say anything. Once you start, they'll bring sentiment, tribal sentiment. Now we are suffering it. We are guys in the studio. Let them come to the round table and approach the government. For them to know what to do. Now, if you go to some areas that are developing, You just hear some Canada will just keep their house.
All right, Ibiso, we get your point, but we're already running out of time. We get what you're saying. We need to wrap up quickly. How can town planners involve themselves in the process of all of this in government? We have a few seconds. So, Mr. Ikechukwu, Chairman, I'll just allow you to say that as we wrap up. Well, how can the town planners be involved? What needs to be done? Few seconds.
The town planners, we are working closely with the Ministry of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development because we know that any development in the state, before it commences, that ministry must know. But as we speak, the ministry do not know.
Why?
We are working with them. We send messages, to know things and to discuss issues with them. Like, for instance, local planning authorities who have been singing this song for decades now.
Already out of time. Mr. Onjoku, 5 seconds.
Okay, for me, it's about the government, whatever the government interest lies on.
A commercial now already.
Papa, please tell us a story.
A long time ago, there were two young lovers, Adanna and Nana.